What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a topic that I've been mentioning for a while but never truly went into detail with, and that is that the Bulls need to modernize their brand of basketball. Now, it's such an easy thing to say, but how do you actually do it? Well, I want to go into detail on what I think the Bulls need to do to modernize their game and to improve upon it for the future years to come. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe we could bring a modernized game to the NBA, and can we be a team that can compete because of it? Because I think we don't play a modernized game of basketball. I look at this Bulls team and I do see elements of old school basketball to it. Now, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. I think there are a couple of teams that like to play a little bit of an older style of basketball, and it works for them. But for the Bulls, it's not working. So how can we modernize our game and make it more competitive with the rest of the league out there? Well, firstly, we need to say modernizing the game of basketball is not easy, and modernizing the game of basketball is a continuous effort. It's not going to be something you just say, well, we're modern now, good for us, and then we just leave it for the next 5 years so we become unmodern again. It's going to be a continuous adaptation of the game of basketball. There's always going to be someone, something, or a collective group of people that want to change the game of basketball and modernize it. Whether that's through the play, through rules, through coaching, whatever it may be, there's always going to be someone ready to take the next step. And the Bulls need to be welcome and opening to that. Being closed to modernization of basketball is going to get you stuck in the past, which is what we have been since the 90s. So keep that in mind as well. And modernization, we've seen it over the course of the years. From the triangle offense, which the Bulls kind of implemented into their own offense to win championship. The Lakers did the same. To, I guess, big boy basketball in the 80s. That was a thing where the superstars in the 80s and 70s were just centers. All the way down to the modern 2000s where it seems to be scoring forwards and just athletic forwards. LeBron, Melo, KD, you know the rest. To where we are now. So what's the number one thing I think we need to start implementing into our team? Well, I think the easiest thing is three-point shooting. We need to improve our three-point shooting. It is as simple as that. We were better this season compared to 2 seasons ago, but the problem is we're still, bottom in the league in many ways. We're like bottom 5 in three-point attempts and three-point makes and stuff of that nature, and that is just not how to bring a modern game of basketball to life for the Bulls. So implementing a way where we can improve our three-point shooting through acquisitions, through shooting coaches, whatever the case may be, we need to start making, and just overall improving our three-point shooting. And we need to do it in more than just one way. It can't just be catch and shoots that we just shoot and that's it. Shooting without, shooting off the dribble, shooting off of a screen. These are the things we don't do very often, and we need to start doing to modernize our game. That's the first thing. But the second thing I think is just as crucial. Very, very crucial. It's something that is called, from the NBA terms, motion offense. Now, I want to quickly read this to you and understand how we can start implementing this. So, this is just a basic Wikipedia explanation to what motion offense is. A motion offense is a category of offensive scheme used in basketball. Motion offense uses player movement, often as a strategy to exploit the quickness of the offensive team or to neutralize a size advantage of the defensive team. So, is that just as simple as that? Let's start moving without the ball so we can neutralize the size advantage of a team, or we can exploit our quickness. Well, yes, I think it's as simple as that in many ways, but there's also a key area into motion offense that will really help this Bulls team in one of its biggest weaknesses. Because you just can't use motion offense every play. These players are human. For 82 games a season, and they're going to be moving at a constant, rapid pace, it's just not going to work. There's going to have to be times where you're able to slow the game down, take a deep breath, rest on the offensive end, and hope you can try to get a bucket in a very unique way. Every team will have to go through this. There is no team in the NBA that will play motion offense every possession for 45, 48 minutes a game. You know what I mean? Bench or not. It's as simple as that. But you want to know when the best time to implement motion offense into your game is? Is when your offensive play is becoming stagnant. And that's our biggest weakness, is it not? Put your hands up if you think it is. It's a big weakness, ladies and gentlemen. How many times have you seen this Bulls team walk up the court, Use the pick and roll, but the corners are still open. No one is moving without the ball. No one's willing to make a backdoor cut. It's stagnant. There's no ball movement. There's nothing. It's stuck to the hand of the ball handler. And at the end of the day, they know they're not going to get the ball, so they're not going to move. I think that explains the Bulls in a nutshell. So adding motion offense into our play helps us neutralize that problem. And we saw it a little bit in the preseason, but it never really managed to bring itself out for the majority in the Bulls team this season, which is quite frustrating. And we need to start using motion offense in our game. I think it's as simple as that. There's literally been championships won based on motion offense. The San Antonio Spurs back in that LeBron era, how'd they win their championships? It was by moving the ball. It was ball movement and player movement. The craftiness and the skill of those players to find the passes and make the passes that they did was able to happen because players were moving without the ball. They knew what was coming. Some of the best highlights you'll ever see from the Spurs is when the ball is moving and the players are moving, and the motion offense was there. It became really unpredictable. Defenses had to communicate heavily to stop it. And they couldn't do it. The Spurs won multiple championships from that. The Golden State Warriors won a dynasty from this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, people will say, well, look, they had Steph Curry. That's the only reason why they won a dynasty. Have you seen Steph Curry play? Do you understand what makes Steph Curry so dangerous? You could be the greatest three-point shooter in the world, but if you don't move, it doesn't matter. That's the point. Stephen Curry's biggest attribute is how he constantly moves. The guy's like 35 years old. I wish you could take a break from moving every now and then. But the guy just keeps on running. He runs circles around his defenders. And the defenders have to run a marathon just to keep up with him. That's his key. That's his secret. That's why he's as dangerous as he is. Because he's crafty, he can maneuver well, and he can outrun you. And he will outrun you to get open opportunities. That's Stephen Curry. That's why the Golden State Warriors were and are so dangerous. And I look at a lot of other teams and they're trying to do the same thing. So the Bulls need to find a way to put this into their offense. I'm not saying let's go get a Steph Curry type of player. Those are too far and difficult to come by. You know, that's not possible. But you can add motion offense in different ways to help stop the stagnation of this team. And that's very important. There's two more things I want to get into. Obviously, I wish the Bulls could start playing a little bit more of a 5-out system. Now, look, I don't think our three-point shooting is good enough to execute this every single possession. But last season, at least, we had a team of Kobe White who could shoot the three, Io who could shoot the three, DeRozan who could at least make a corner one, Patrick Williams or Javonte Green who can make a corner one as well, and Vucevic who really sucks from the three-point line this season but can make a three. I look at teams like the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and from time to time they play a 5-out offense, and it really works. I don't see that with the Bulls at all. I don't think I've seen it all season. Very few and far between if we have. So I think that should be a way to go as well. I don't think it's a secret that Boston are first in the East because they have 5 players out there that can knock down a three-point shot at a high level. It's hard to stop. You can't stop all 5 guys from just knocking down threes from the logo. You just can't do it. So I wish we could start implementing that. But the last thing I'm going to say is isolation. I bet you didn't see that coming, did you, ladies and gentlemen? Isolation is always going to be a part of the game. It was part of the game in the 90s, it was part of the game in the 2000s, and it's going to be a part of the game now. I don't think you're ever going to truly get rid of isolation. Some of the best talents in the world today use isolation to score buckets and to help win games. It's as simple as that. Now, some isolation, if you use it too much, is going to cost you. The Bulls use it a lot. It costs us. I look at the Phoenix Suns this season. Used isolation all the time. It costs them. And it forced them into difficult shots every possession. And they don't have defense to back them up. So they lost pretty comfortably to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But isolation is always going to be prevalent in the game. You will never get rid of it. You will never abolish isolation. So the one thing that we need to learn is how to use isolation. Not whether we should or not, because I don't think that's a question. We need isolation, especially in the playoffs. Isolation will be very important. But it's about how you use it, how often you use it, when you use it, and stuff of that nature. You can figure out that part of your game, it will get you closer to winning. Because again, the playoffs and the regular season are two different competitions. Just watch the games. Isolation is going to be important in the playoffs. So it's about when to use it, how to use it, and whether or not it is needed. So that's it. That's my modernization. What do you think? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.